Okay guys, so we're going to start revising your draft of your explanatory essay about stress and how it affects teens. So what you need to have is you need to have your outline. Here's my outline. And you need to have your sources. And I have my notes open to number 11, the explanatory paragraph, and I just want you to take a peek. I'm getting a phone call, but it's from somebody weird. So I'm just going to put that off to the side, and then I have my draft that I have just typed it and just highlighted it. Mine is 3 pages long because remember in paragraphs 3 and 4, you had to add your own elaboration or some elaboration in paragraph 3 and all the elaboration in paragraph 4. So I like words, and it's still really rough. So what we're going to do is we're going to do several steps, and so you're going to pause me a bunch, and you're going to look at your essay and fix it right now. So the other thing I have is I'm at my computer here. So here's my computer screen, and here's my essay. Here, mine looks a tiny bit different than yours because I used Word and not Google Docs, because I just did. Sorry, because I always do my schoolwork here. So you're going to have yours up, so make sure your Google Doc is up there. So that way, when you notice something here, you're going to edit it actually on the screen. You don't even need to worry about you know, writing stuff down. You can just, I hope I don't make you car sick, but you're just gonna start fixing it right away. And that's why you can't turn the first draft in later, because you're gonna start, you guys who just finished typing are going to start revising it. And so it doesn't kill your grade, but it missing this second revision, the second draft, it will hurt it. But just persevere, because the overall essay will do a lot of good for your grade. So, and it will wipe all these drafts away. But it is important on a big piece of writing to make sure that you keep up on it. So the first thing I want you to do is I want you to look at your actual essay. And there's a couple things, I made a little list here. There's a couple things I want you to look at. The first thing I want you to look at is your name. Did you, I know it's backwards to you, but did you capitalize your first and your last name? And the other thing I want you to notice is just the format. Like, do you have 5 paragraphs? So I have 1, 2, I start the 3rd down here, and it goes on. Here's the rest of the 3rd, here's the 4th, and then lastly I have my teeny tiny 5th paragraph. And then I want you to also notice, did you indent? So did you push tab once? And then once you do it, Google Docs will start doing it for you. Word won't. My Word doesn't. But so make sure that you've indented every paragraph in your essay. And then just looking over it, I mean, if you want to highlight it correctly, which is a lot of points, you need to make sure this first paragraph, it looks like purple, yellow, 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 blue. And then paragraphs 2, 3, and 4 all follow the same format. It starts with the transition part is orange, and then the main idea of that paragraph, so this one is about how your body reacts to a stressful event. It's that physical reaction. That's green. I don't know if you can tell that's green, but it's green. And then my 3 yellows are right there, and then everything else is pink. And then we jump down to paragraph 3 about how it can affect your health greatly. And again, so it's yellow, pink, pink, yellow, pink, pink. I have more pinks than 2. And then when we get to that last paragraph, this is where ours all look very, very different. And then the last paragraph, remember transitions are always orange. They just pop out to make sure we have them. And thesis statements, what an essay is actually about, is blue. And then it's yellow in a sentence, yellow in a sentence, yellow in a sentence. And then that strong statement that we had is purple. Okay, so just structurally make sure you have it all. And now I want you just to look at your actual essay. Count how many paragraphs you have in paragraph 1. Count it right now and pause me. Okay, unpause me. You should have 5 sentences in paragraph 1. Double check that you have 5. In paragraphs 2, I want you to count how many sentences you have. Because minimum, you need 10 10 sentences. And some of you, you've lost some sentences. I'm not sure how, but you've lost some sentences. So you need to make sure you have at least 10. Because when you have 10, then I know you have enough reasons, details, and facts, and that you have some elaboration to connect to the reader and to explain it thoroughly. Because remember, explanatory essay, you are explaining how stress affects a teenager's body. So you need to make sure you stay on prompt. Looking at paragraph 3, because this is where you had to start your own elaboration. And so some of you are missing 4 sentences because you had to add 4 pieces of elaboration. You need 10 sentences in paragraph 3. Count it right now. If you don't, you need to figure out where your yellow was, and you need to make sure you have 2 pinks because that will be key for you. And then lastly, paragraph 4, all of ours look different. You need to make sure you have 10 sentences. Okay, so for your first draft, I just glanced at it and I knew I was going to tell you what to do. So it's always important to get the thoughts down and then you start working through it, because this is a really rough essay. And then the last paragraph, would you count and make sure you have 5 sentences? You can have more, but you just have to have a minimum of 5. Okay, so that's just the structure of it. Now, I want you to look at paragraph 1. And in paragraph 1, let me read it with you. I just need a pen that I like that you could see. Let's see. Hello. Here's one. Okay, sorry. Okay, so we said teens experience stress often, but have you ever noticed a difference when you're stressed out? So hopefully you're reading yours when I'm reading this one. And then we said stress creates a physical response. It also impacts your health, and stress overload is complicated and dangerous. And then we said our thesis statement is, even though it's a fact of life, stress affects a teenager's body. So something to think about is we say the word stress. So in paragraph 1, I want you to circle all your stress. Just circle it on your draft itself. So 1, 2, 3, 4. We've used stress 4 times in 5 sentences, and that's a lot. But there's not a synonym for stress. Let's look it up. Let me look up synonyms. So I just go to synonym.com. You guys can do that too. Oh, and synonym for stress. And let's see, pressure. Ooh. Pressure, tension, worry, anxiety. Well, this one's about stress, overtax, push to the limits. Best synonyms for stress: tension, strain, pressure, burden, ooh, hardship, overexertion, agony, trial, affliction, anxiety. So I'm going to leave this up here. So in paragraph 1, I like it in the first sentence. The second sentence, stress creates a physical response. I want you to find a synonym and find something else for that word. And then we used it. So don't use it in sentence number 2. Find another synonym, maybe one of those that I just went over with you. And then you have stress overload. We have to leave stress overload because it really is a syndrome that those words go together. And then we need it in our thesis statement. So just take out the stress in the second sentence in that paragraph. So do that right now. And then put me on pause. Okay, so then paragraph 2, we said, to begin, your body reacts. So read yours with mine, because I think some of you lopped off some of the quotes or you swap stuff. To begin, your body reacts when it's exposed to a stressful event called a stressor. So this is about how your body reacts, physical reaction. So when you experience a stressor, you can actually feel it. Source 1, an article called Stress by kidshealth.org, describes in paragraph 2 that stress is the, quote, ... the body's way of rising to a challenge and preparing to meet a tough situation with focus, strength, stamina, and heightened alertness, end quote. And then we have that surge of hormones makes you alert and quick to react. Once exposed to stressor, your nervous system kicks in and releases hormones. So now we're going to talk about those hormones. Then we say source 3, a presentation called How Stress Affects Your Body. We didn't write down in our outline who wrote that. So who wrote that, source 3, is a man's name called Horst Bergquist. So you need to add that to source 3. So go ahead and make sure you spell his name correctly. Spell it correctly. You also should have it in front of you. So we have by Horst Bergquist. Explains in paragraph 4 that your adrenal gland releases the stress hormones cortisol, epinephrine, also known as adrenaline, and norepinephrine. End quote. Sorry. This speeds up your heart rate and blood flow so you're at the ready. And then all of these body parts working together is called the stress response. Source 1 explains in paragraph 5 that working properly, the body's stress response enhances a person's ability to perform well under pressure, but like all things, too much or too frequent stress can cause serious concerns. So this paragraph, it flows okay. It's a little stiff. I like to read work that that you relate to and that you have an experience with, and I think you've all felt stressed at some times. I know that, especially when I was your kid, I used to be very, very, very shy. And when I was stressed and I could feel that physical, that adrenaline, that nervousness, I knew I could feel it like butterflies in my stomach. Sometimes I felt like my legs were shaky if I had to give a speech or anything, or, you know, I told you that story about that guy, and walking by him. That was very, 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 very stressful, horribly stressful. So what you're going to do in paragraph 2 is you can talk about, so RDF 1 is about how you can feel it, and RDF 2 is about the hormones released, and RDF 3 is about the stress response. I think that you could think of a scenario where you felt stressed, and you could add it after your first reason, detail, fact. So for me, I could add something after that surge of hormones makes you alert and quick to react. I could add a story of a time where I was stressed, but it worked out great. Like maybe, well, I'm trying to think of when I was a teenager. Boy, that was a long time ago. Think of sports. So when something happens and you're sort of startled, but you react in a great way, or it makes you really sharp, like you're ready for it because you know the ball's coming for you, or you know you have to take care of something, or you've practiced and practiced and practiced a presentation and you get up and you nail it, or you've studied and studied and studied for a test and you made flashcards and you go to take the test and you get a nice score on it, or you got a score and you didn't like it and you were like, oh crud, I'm gonna study really hard, and you and your family worked hard together. That stress, but how it made you sharper. So it's about how stress was really, really good for you. So pick a story and add a sentence somewhere around here of a personal anecdote. Anecdote would be a story, so like a one sentence of maybe one time when you were alert and you were quick to react. Okay? So your now paragraph 2 has 11 sentences. Go ahead and add it right now. Now paragraph 3 talks about affecting your health greatly, and I want you to make sure of a couple of things. So your reason, detail, fact 1 is about teens feel like they have as much stress as adults, and your second reason, detail, fact, the yellows, is about how that can affect sleep, and your third reason, detail, fact is about how that can affect a teenager's weight. Now, you might not have personal experience thinking or feeling that you have as much stress as an adult, and you might not have issues with sleeping, and you might not have issues with weight gain due to stress. But maybe you know somebody who's going through something. Maybe your own family member, brother, sister, even your mom or dad, even if they're not a teenager, you know, are affected by that. And you might want to include a pink. So you need to include at least one more pink in this paragraph. And it can either be about how teens feel like they have as much stress as adults, or about the sleeping issues, or about the weight. So I want you to pick a spot and add another sentence. And then I want you to reread the whole paragraph. And I don't think we've repeated too much words, but you might want to go through, because it's a little bit choppy, because we outlined it, we just got thoughts down, and we did it together, and we squished it on a teeny tiny outline. So as you go over it, you need to make sure that, you know, it flows. I think this one, paragraph 3, you had to come up with some elaboration here. So this is where you need to make sure that something here is evidence. So I just want you to look that over and polish it up a little bit, kind of like we did paragraph 1 and paragraph 2. And then lastly, paragraph 4. Paragraph 4, you had to do all of your elaboration. So I want you to look at paragraph 4. So here's mine, and mine's pretty long because it goes on to the next page, because remember, I like words. I want you to look through paragraph 4 right now, and I want you to count how many quotes you have. How many quotes do you have? So I have something from source 1, paragraph 10. I have a quote there, so I'm going to put a little mark there. I have a quote from source 1. Oh, I didn't write down what paragraph it was at. Some of the signs. Source 1. That'd be paragraph 15. So I need to add that. Source 1, paragraph 15. So I need to add that. I'll add that to my document here in just a second. And then I have a quote from paragraph 7. Paragraph 7 in source 3. So I have 3 quotes, so that's just enough. 2 is okay. 3 is fine. 4 is not fine. 4 means you didn't really elaborate. You've just repeated what every article said that we had. So read through that, read through yours, and make sure it makes sense and it flows a little bit better. And then the last paragraph, teenage bodies react to stress. So I'm going to zoom in on mine. Oh, you can't see it very well. I'm going to take a picture of my last one. I just want you to make sure your apostrophes are in the right spot. So in the last paragraph, we have stress 1, 2, 3, 4. So take I don't know how to take one out, but if you can creatively do one, that would be great. So what you're going to do now is you're going to make sure that you've gone over it, pause me as much as you could. You're going to print your newest draft, which would be draft 2. You're going to highlight it. It should be easier to highlight draft 2 because you have draft 1 and you also have my video. And then I get in my hands, I get your packet with your outline. It looks like this. Et voila. And your newest draft, so your old stuff is all stapled together. Don't pull it off and get rid of anything. So here's your first draft, and then you're going to print, and the other stuff will be loose, because then I start spreading it out. And with your second draft, I will have a little conversation with you, specifically telling you what bugaboos you might have. And I might just say, go back to the video. Okay, have fun.